Well, good evening, and thanks so much for joining us here on Ask the Attorney segment. I don't believe we are live on Facebook right now. For some reason, an error occurred on Facebook. It's just one of those days where we're just having some technical difficulties, right, Mary Ann?
I sure understand that. Yep.
Okay, so we are live on Facebook now. So thanks everyone so much for joining us here on our 14th Ask the Attorney segment. And as I mentioned, that was not our only technical difficulty. Mary Ann, you kind of have been experiencing some issues on your end of things as well.
Exactly. So I'm on my iPad. It's small, so hopefully it will all work fine. I could not get onto the internet with my laptop as usual. So little different setup, same place, but different setup. Yeah.
Just one of those days, but you know what? We're making it work. We're here. You sound good. You look good. So we're just gonna have to roll with it.
Okay, sounds good to me. Thanks.
So for everyone watching, I just want to remind you that if you have any questions at all for Mary Ann during our segment, feel free to leave a comment and we will get to them as we go about our segment. But we do have a couple of questions that Mary Ann, I want to ask you before we get into tonight's topic. So the first question is, my sister and I inherited our mother's home after she passed away. She currently lives in it and is preparing to buy out my half of the home. My question is, what would happen to the house if my sister, Lord forbid, passes away? She's married with no other dependents. Would the house be split with myself and her husband, or would it all go to me?
That completely depends on what the deed says. So there's how it was deeded to you and your sister. If it were tenants in common is what it's called, tenants in common with equal half shares, then it will go to her heirs and her husband would be one. So that she could probably handle that through an estate planning document. But yeah, that's where that stands right now. You would own the half unless it's a deed that has what's called joint tenancy. We lawyers use the weirdest words, I'm telling you, but this is joint tenancy with the right to survivorship. So, I'm just giving you information. You really should talk to an attorney about the deed so you completely understand it. But if it's right to survivorship, then you would be the owner. So just depends on how she deeded it to you and her passing. Mm-hmm. But again, a lawyer, and I'm not giving legal guidance here, but a lawyer that you could go and visit could help you too.
And then the next question says, hello, I have a grown child and his biological father is deceased. I remarried, but my husband never adopted him. My husband has no other children, biological or adopted. If I pass away before my husband, do we need to make a legal document for my son to be the heir of our estate when he passes away, since there is no legal document stating he is his son? I am concerned that my husband's mother, brother, sister might have claim to our estate. Please advise how we should set our estate up so my son is the heir in any situation that we are both deceased.
So that's a super good question. Really, really on your toes there. So if you die and you have a person dies and they have no will, no trusts stating otherwise, then their property goes to their heirs. And in that situation, it's called intestate succession. And the state would not recognize your son as being his son. So you're absolutely correct. You go down this intestate succession and it says, are you married? The answer would be no. Do you have children? The answer would be no. Do you have parents? The answer would be yes. So it would look to your parents. And I think I'd have to go to the statute myself. I think it would share with his parents and his sisters. So just exactly how you stated that. So I recommend, again, just giving information, but based upon what you told me, I recommend finding an estate planning attorney and having the right having a legal document, as you put in place. Even a will that says everything goes to the name of your child is probably enough. But I don't know that for sure. You really should, given all of your, an estate planning attorney will talk to you and your husband about your intentions and your assets and what you want, and they'll come up with the right set of documents, but very intuitive on your part. Right. Yep. I think I think about that. In my own family, I've got brothers and sisters who may have divorced and remarried and, not made the second child probably has a parent, had a parent,
Mhm.
never adopted. So that makes it all different. Or in the case of my grandson, same situation, right? His biological father um, is gone, but very likely there will be another person in his life to love him and to take care of him and to raise him.
Sure.
Um, and so very, that's not unusual, but very um, on the ball on your part to ask that question.
Mhm. Well, thanks, Mary Ann, so much for answering those questions. And thank you, folks, for submitting those questions. Again, if you have any other follow-up questions or if you have any new questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section here at any point, and we will take a pause to answer your questions. But so we're on segment 14 of Ask the Attorney. And over the last several segments, we have discussed a variety of topics when it comes to estate planning, such as what is an estate plan, what is probate avoidance techniques, preserving family legacy, and common myths and misconceptions about estate planning. So tonight, Mary Ann, we're going to talk a little bit about empowerment.
We are going to talk about empowerment. And I'll just let everyone know who's listening, because of my technical kind of difficulties, we might run this a little bit shorter than our usual 30 minutes. But I really wanted to talk to people about how really deeply passionate I am about guiding individuals through the process of creating their estate plan. It is just such a privilege to work with people and witness the impact that doing this planning it is on their life. It helps the people I'm working with, their families, and even generations to come. And I think of this as empowerment, because I believe in empowering individuals to take this journey and to protect what's most important to them and to their loved ones, to protect their legacy and really give them peace of mind. But my mission is to guide an individual through the process of creating a plan that reflects their values, their aspirations, and deepest desires for the future. And I could find nothing more rewarding than the hugs I get as people leave my office, the big smiles, the feeling of accomplishment. And and I think of that as empowerment. It just brings clarity, confidence, security, and I would say peace of mind.
Mhm. So is experiencing that why you do this?
Oh, it's the core of why I do this. Yes. Um, I just have I always have had these deeply held beliefs about the importance of planning for the future, protecting what matters most. And I believe every individual deserves the opportunity to secure their legacy, to provide for their loved ones, and to leave a lasting impact on the world. It's just very core to me. And so my journey in estate planning is deeply personal. It's rooted in my personal experiences that have shaped me, whether it's fueled by my own experiences or watching others or witnessing others going through a loss or a change. I just find that, the firsthand experience of inadequate planning is just very hurtful. It hurts me to watch it. It hurts family relationships. And so I think that just having this deep sense of empathy and determination to make a difference, is real core to my mission. So it's definitely a calling.
And I know you're also very committed to service.
I am. I am passionate about service, and I serve in other ways than just this, but I'm passionate about service, and I want to make a positive impact upon people's lives. I know I was a General Motors attorney for many years, and I felt there I was able to make great impact on people's lives. I worked in the workplace safety area where I helped the organization make sure they had great safety protocols for people. So I kind of went home at the end of the day feeling like I may have saved some lives today. I may have done something that really mattered in a family's life, and that made me feel great. And I loved that opportunity at General Motors. And so here, it's the same. I can make a huge impact on the life of a family, whether that's guiding a young family through the process of their first estate plan, or helping a retiree navigate through the complexities of what happens during, as you get older and older, whether it's Medicaid planning. I just approach each individual fact pattern and people's lives with compassion, integrity, and I'll tell you, just a genuine desire to help. And I think of that as service. And I think, the journey of estate planning is truly amazing, both for the individual and families, and their families. It just, if you could just see the moments that people finish their plans and how good they feel about it. So I reflect my journey. I'm filled with a gratitude of having the opportunity to help families. I feel so empowered myself as I carry my son's legacy of service forward, and I press on with my own, because it's not just him that that chooses to serve in this family. And I am just inspired by the countless lives that have been touched through acts of kindness and compassion and service. And I just want to be part of that for years to come. So that is truly what I think estate planning is a deep service to families.
Mm-hmm. And so, Mary Ann, we were able to go to lunch together last week.
I loved it.
Lovely. And one conversation we had was kind of about, what is your why? Not necessarily like what do you do, but why do you do it? So what is your why when it comes to serving young parents?
So my why when it comes to serving young parents is that I know that innate in everyone is just the instinct to protect their children, right? I mean, your child, I used to call myself Mama Bear, don't get in the way of Mama Bear, but you just come to attention when you think your child is in danger. And, you estate planning really offers a profound, and I would just use the word profound, sense of emotional security when it comes to protecting your children. Because knowing that even if the unimaginable happens to your family, which you just hope that it doesn't, but knowing that, you've made choices for your children that you can continue to protect them. You've chosen guardians that you trust and love, and those people are going to love your children as your own. We would have chosen a family member, a brother or sister with similar sized family. But everybody is different, right? Some people choose friends, but you feel good because you've identified the people that you want to raise your child if you can't. Your children are just your greatest legacy, and I think that's how most people view them. And through thoughtful planning, you can even continue to impart your dreams and your values and your aspirations upon the children, and ensure that your essence lives on through them. I think that's something that estate planning does for young families. And I'll tell you, the thought of leaving your children behind. I mean, living the life I'm living, it's horrible every day when I think of my son, but what I think of, he had to leave his child behind, that kills me. But knowing that his wife loved him so much and is doing everything she can do to continue to make my son a part of his son's life is really heartwarming. And I know that in the long run, that will really matter. And so allowing a family and parents to make a plan that considers their child's future, and when everything is dumped upside down, their child still can move forward with a sense of security, someone loves them, and someone that will help them through, is really what I really enjoy about working with young families. It's just building that security.
Mm-hmm. So we do have a question in the comments. I'm going to take a pause on this conversation and ask, how does a ladybird deed work?
Okay, I can talk about a ladybird deed. So a ladybird deed is a deed that is approved by the state of Michigan, and it really identifies a beneficiary for your property. So during your life, you completely own your property. You can sell it, mortgage it, lease it, destroy it if you wanted. You can do anything with your property, and that person that you've named as a beneficiary has no control. They can't say, you can't do that. That's going to be mine. It doesn't matter. The state says, no, doesn't matter. So the ladybird deed then basically states on it, upon your death, then you would like this property to go to, and you list one person or multiple people. Um, and then upon your death, when your the deed will automatically transfer. You file or record the death certificate with the Register of Deeds, but the deed transfers. Which brings up a point. Insurance doesn't transfer. So if you're the recipient of a ladybird deed, you need to insure that house right away. So, but it's a very good tool. The other part of a ladybird deed is in you people may have heard that. I kind of slowed down because my echoing. People may have heard that Medicaid, if your parent used Medicaid in a nursing home, that Medicaid can come back and take the value out of your house. And that's true because if it doesn't have a ladybird deed or other type things, and it's just in that person's name who was in the nursing home, and it goes into their probate, it's probated, then whatever lands in probate, Medicaid can reach out and say, hey, we paid this much money for care for this person and we would like it back. So a ladybird deed will, at this time, laws always change, but the ladybird deed will avoid that recovery, the Medicaid recovery as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Mary Ann, for answering that question. Thank you so much for asking that question. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but if anyone else watching has any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. But kind of circling back to our conversation about your why, Mary Ann, what is your why for serving empty nesters?
Empty nesters. I will just be very, like I said in the beginning, I am shaped by my experiences, right? And one of the more difficult times in my life, but exciting at the same time, was when my son was going off to his own life and we were now suddenly empty nesters. There was a part of me that felt like, what do I do now? And there was another part of me that was like, let's go on a cruise, or whatever. So there were a lot of emotions running at that time. And so I would say that having lived it, I interact with empty nesters, with very empathetic and understanding. And I really do recognize that stage of life can be filled with emotion, because especially early on, because you still feel like you should know everything that child's doing, where they are, what they're, and take care of them. But I would say that one of the most rewarding aspects of helping an empty nester is to create an estate plan that helps them preserve their family legacy. Because I think that's a little bit of what maybe I was missing was, this piece of me that I feel is part of my legacy. How is he going to know this? How is he going to know that? But just really preserve family's legacy for future generations. I mean, that includes thinking about passing down family heirlooms, making what kinds of donations you might want to make in death to a charitable cause. Establishing a succession plan for a family business is a really important thing to do at any stage, but empty nesters seem to be in that place where they're more likely to want to do that. And I work closely with the empty nester clients or any clients to make sure that their wishes are carried out according to their values and really their values and aspirations. So whatever their intentions are, and this is where helping them create a plan to reflect their legacy is so rewarding to me, because people are allowing me into their thoughts and looking for my guidance on what they might want to do or how to achieve this goal or that goal, and the what ifs of their life. So it really, ultimately, my goal is to provide empty nesters with a peace of mind, knowing that their affairs are in order and their loved ones are provided for. And that's through careful planning and attention. It's attention to detail, what people say. And one of my deep thoughts is, there is a reason you came to me today. There's something that you need solved. And you might not even know it, but let's explore that together and find what might be kind of the catalyst for our visit, right? And you'd be amazed at kind of this, that's why I'm here. I mean, it is it's
The light bulb
really,
goes off.
yeah, exactly. Light bulb goes on, and oh, I never thought of that. I didn't know that was an option. It's just very rewarding, I think, to work with that group of people as well.
Mhm. So then how do things change when folks get older?
Yeah, another life experience, right? I was very, very, very close to my grandmother on my mother's side, and she was just so much of my world. So I spent a lot of time with her through her older years. So I watched her life change and her views on life change. She kind of became a little more um, in her home. I wouldn't call her homebound, but she just wasn't as out there. And so I feel like I have some level of deep understanding of what happens as people age. And one of the things that I was really always important to me with my grandmother is to show her and demonstrate to her that she still was in control of her decisions. This was still her house, and to really empower her. And most everyone in the family did that. I mean, she was just a wonderful woman. But so I find that empowering people that are older to make decisions, because sometimes when I think of my grandmother, I think she started to wonder if her decisions were right. Should she make this decision? And so empowering someone to say, this is your decision, this is your legacy, this is your stuff, and you can choose what you want to do with it. I think it really gives them security and a peace of mind. And they know then once they've made their estate plan, it's just really proactive. It helps to protect their assets. It aligns with their core values, and it can actually make an incredible difference in the way their families act after the passing. They know what mom wanted. There's no doubt. So I find that even at that stage, and sometimes it has to do with protecting assets, thinking about the possibility of needing Medicaid. Sometimes it's right on top of needing Medicaid where I'm able to come in and help a family kind of, no one knows that path until they're faced with it. And once you're faced with it, it's daunting. So coming in and being able to talk to someone who can walk you through the steps and kind of calm you down and make you or help you understand, not make you understand, is just really deeply important to me. And again, you can see the empowerment, you can see some of the burden lifting off people's shoulders, and that's just really why I do what I do. I mean, there's not a stage in life that they're all different, but they all are meaningful to me. They all need to be, stand up and feel empowered and feel in control. And once you have completed an estate plan, whether you have children, empty nester, you're an older person who's been an empty nester for a long time, you just have this sense of you've taken things back into control, and you now know that in your passing, the world is going to have some sense of order, and you've put that sense of order kind of into play.
Hmm.
So
anything else you want to say about that?
It's kind of my why. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Mary Ann, so much about kind of opening up a little bit and sharing why you do what you do. It's one thing to kind of talk about all the different things you do, but again, the why is also a very important and critical part about why you're here doing this segment right now. Why
Exactly.
you enjoy what you do so much. So it's very interesting to hear that from your perspective.
And thank you for asking the question at lunch, because what came across my mind is, if Maya doesn't know my why, I haven't told anyone my why. So thank you for raising that, and really gave me a lot to to think about and realize that when I meet clients for the first time, I should maybe share a little more of my why, which maybe I just dive into business. I don't know. I'll have to pay closer attention to myself.
Yeah. I say try it out.
Yeah, I'll take it for a test run.
Yeah, there we go. Well, Mary Ann, thanks so much again for sharing your experiences and for answering some very important questions. I do want to remind anyone watching that if you want to contact Mary Ann for whatever reason, we do have her website and her phone number in the description below, so you can contact her either way. And we do this segment every other Thursday. So if you do have any questions that you want Mary Ann to answer during our next segment, you can always comment live, of course, or you can share your questions to Up North Live's newsroom. The email for that is just newsroom@upnorthlive.com. You can also find that on our website. So yeah, feel free to, ask any questions. Something that I think we've been doing so far is we keep things pretty anonymous. I know some people do say like, oh, can you not share my name? Because it can be a very personal subject.
Very personal.
So if that's something you're worried about, don't worry. We're not going to share your name or any information. So yeah, just don't hesitate to ask any questions and we will answer those next time on our segment. But just like that, we're almost to 7:30. So you thought we were going to be short.
I thought we would be like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Tell you my why. Cut and dry.
Just a couple minutes short. Well, Mary Ann, thank you so much again for being here every other Thursday and for providing such valuable information. It's very appreciated, and I will see you next time in a couple weeks.
Sounds great. Okay, thank you. Have a nice night,
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.